They say that dreams have got no boundaries. And especially if you have a dream of building a home theater experience, trust me, this is extremely true. Because home theater, people will be like, क्या अमीरों के शौक पाले हुए हैं? It is actually a world which has got no boundaries, no limitations, and literally sky is the limit for the products and the options available. Now, in most of these cases, a normal person is going to get lost, he's not going to make the right decisions, and eventually he will buy something which he may regret because it is not fitting into their space or not giving him the right experience. Now, in these cases, having someone to hold your hand and guiding you is extremely important. Now, we had one such client who had a dream of building a nice home cinema experience for himself as well as his family, that too in a spare room and in a costly real estate space like Mumbai. Now, this is a house in Andheri where the client wanted to convert this room, which is 11 feet 8 inches by 17 feet 1 inches, for 3 applications. It should be used as a guest room when we have guests over. The second application was to use it as a study room whenever we want to, do some own homeworks or do some own self studies. And the third was obviously to get a perfect home cinema experience, which is for the family. Now, doing all of this in one room is possible, and that is what we could achieve in this place. Now, looking at the layout, the first thought that I had was the door is actually on the smaller wall, which is the 11 feet wall. Now, most of the times people will tell you that home theater needs to have a bigger viewing distance, so always go for this 17 feet as the viewing distance. But in this case, on one side we have big window which opens up to the sky deck, and on the other side there's an entrance door to the room along with the placement for the cabinet. The other two sides of the wall, which are the bigger walls of 17 feet, had to have a sofa or a bed, and on the other side was a small sitting arrangement along with a TV unit. Now, this wall also has got a washroom door, so we were very limited on the space and the options. But finally, we decided that since we are looking for a cozy experience and the room needs to be used as a bedroom, the compartments or the cupboards cannot be compromised. So the wardrobe had to stay, the view of the sky deck had to be there, and that is why we decided to use the 11 feet 8 inches as the main distance between the sitting area and the screen area. Now, for this short distance, the screen size was already concluded to 100 inches. One thing that was becoming an issue was the small sit out under the screen. Now, this had to be let go on off from the initial plan because we could not fit in the screen along with the sitting area. Now, since we are looking for a pricing that works well and does not pinch a lot on the pockets, we were evaluating some speaker options that can blend well in the room. Towers typically does not work nicely in these kind of setups, especially if you have got the room to be used as a bedroom and you don't know what kind of guests would come in. There can be small children, there can be elders, and they may not have the floor standing space freedom to be accommodated in these rooms. So floor standing was ruled out. Bookshelf was definitely one of the considerations, along with in-wall, on-wall, and satellites. Now, in-wall, on-wall speakers, we cannot really tilt them. And in such spaces where we have to ensure that the people who are sitting on the sofas or the sofa cum beds need to get the right audio directivity. So for that reason and for the price constraints, we had to ensure that we go for the speaker which is one of the best in its class as well as in performance. So there were no second thoughts. We went ahead with the Focal Sib Evos, where the front threes were kept on the tabletop above the AV cabinet and below the screen. So you can look at this front three speakers, they are actually positioned well within the angle or within the height of the listener level. The surround speakers are placed on the wall at the back and they are nicely angled towards the sitting area, ensuring that the surround cloud is very well achieved. Then we had two ceiling speakers for covering the Atmos standard, because nowadays there is nothing that is below Atmos which will be done in a home theater standard. So Atmos was essential. Now all of this system is driven by a 7-channel Marantz Slimline series AV receiver, which, trust me, is only 50 to 60 watt per channel. The wattage is not important. It is there to just give you the support for the speakers, but for the room and for the distance, we knew that the Marantz Cinema 70S will be the perfect partner to drive the home theater. The projector we were evaluating for two choices. The first one was a full HD projector from Optoma, And the second one, obviously, was a 4K push to enjoy the content in the best available format. Now, while we did the arrangement of the mount for both these projectors, when we finally reached to the installation stage, we decided to move ahead with the Epson TW7100. Now, these are certain small things that we need to study, and that is something that we at TappAV definitely take care of you, because the mounting locations cannot be changed once the false ceiling is closed. The study of this throw distance is extremely crucial. So whatever options are being given, we always ensure that the provisions for extra arrangements in done. In this case as well, we have got a provision done for an extra subwoofer, because we know that the Focal Sib Evo sub, in case someone likes more punch, can be a little less. So we have done the provision where we can add one more subwoofer in the future. But the advantage of this 11 feet 8 inches as the depth usage is that the base requirement may not be very high. And that is where the Focal Sub takes care of our requirements, and for the client's expectations, it serves very well. Now this room, in terms of the total price package, is well under 5 lakh rupees. So you can imagine, for such rooms where you have got multiple options or multiple applications where it has to be used for study purposes, guest room purposes, as well as media purposes, you can still achieve a perfect home theater balance. All you need to have is someone who can tell you which are the right products, which is the right orientation, and what are the right combinations of screen, projector, and the AV equipments. So to give you a timeline on this project, well, the first inquiry was done with us in the month of June 2024. That is where we had the first paid consultation, we started working out on options, and then over a period of a month, we've literally had no other option but to close it because the wiring was about to start. Now, once the wiring started, as and how the interior work progressed, we started taking certain actions of installing the ceiling speakers, installing the mount, ensuring that the cables are in the right place, the dimensions of the AV cabinet are shared, and we have a proper ventilated cabinet for the AV system. Now, while this was happening in the front end on site, the back end team was very well taking care of all the other requirements in terms of the content playback, in terms of the power supply arrangements, as well as in terms of getting the AV cabinet design in place. And finally, after 9 months of hard work on site by all the different agencies, as well as some fantastic design work by the interior designer of the client, we could reach to a conclusion of the final installation. Now, for the installation, we had our teams on toes to take care of the products, the installation of the equipments, and finally calibrate the setup to the best of its standard. Now, looking at the room today, it gives me a different satisfaction, knowing that me and my team here at TappAV could really fulfill someone's dream home theater experience. Hits us hard and hits us different. Now, irony goes that we have got our own approach of designing and delivering home theaters in a similar dream format. And if you want to know what this format is, how does a dream really work to build up a great home theater experience, don't forget to check out this video that is shared in the link above. And for all of you, if you have already watched this video as well as seen the setup tour and want to design your own room, then don't forget to check the link shared in the description as well as in the pinned comment. Because I, Tanmay Mehta, your home theater consultant or home theater wale bhaiya, will keep enjoying designing and delivering some of the best home theaters in the Indian market. And if you want to be amongst them, don't forget to hit that link. Also, for more such amazing setup tours, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.